I remember riding at that time and thinking, like, when we go to the pre-works and we're getting ready, and I'm thinking, what else can I do to be this competitive for the rest of my life? I mean, you want to talk about some wake-up calls. I'm in college getting up at whenever I want, which is late, and to go into Wesley summer hours of getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning was rough. So when I see my boys now, I make sure that, I think about, if I'm not here tomorrow, they look back on their text messages, what messages are going to be there? What was the message that Dad had? How are they going to hear me when I'm not here, when they're by themselves and their trouble's around the corner? Because we know when it's Easy Street, danger is around the corner. What voice are they hearing? It's all about the horse, the care, the passion, the people behind it. It's not about the glitz and the glamour, and it's about the horse and taking care of the horse and making sure that the people are taken care of and the people that are calling are taken care of. And if there's a problem, we try to take care of it.
Guys, I want to welcome everybody to the 817 podcast. I get to introduce to y'all today Beau and Ashley Galyean. I know everybody's heard of them. Man, what more to say? I invited Ashley, the queen of stallions, here to the podcast today, but she had Beau to take care of, so he got to tag along. Guys, thank y'all for coming. I'm pumped to have y'all here, pumped to do this with y'all, actually, and tell a little bit about y'all's story.
Where should we start? We've been together 22 years. Right? 04?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll grade it at the end. Don't get in trouble right here.
Yeah, thanks.
You said that with some, I liked how you said that, keep going with that.
Well,
where did y'all meet? How old were y'all?
Young, 20. I was still in college. Beau was deciding that he didn't want to be in college anymore. And he was playing golf. And I went to high school in Ardmore. He went to high school in Ardmore. But we went to different schools. So we had all the same friends, ran around with the same crowd, but we never really met each other until I was home for a Christmas break, right?
Right.
And we were at the local hangout, saw each other, and I was like, I'm going to get his number. And I got it.
And you got it. and it stuck.
And then he had to make the trip to Stillwater to see me because I had another year.
Oh, you weren't going to tell him about that night? Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm here to make sure this stays rated PG-13, not R.
Everything we do is PG-13, I thought.
No comment.
So anyway.
So this is in Oklahoma. Where did you go to college? She was in Stillwater,
Arkansas.
And then you decided to go to Arkansas to play golf. Ash, did you follow?
No, he was.
We didn't even know each other in high school.
Yeah.
She went to Plainview High School. I went to Ardmore High School. We had similar friends, similar parties.
For the record, I was on the golf team at my high school too. And I would see him out there practicing and thought he had his collar.
Nice swing.
No, he was being very serious. I was more concerned about driving the golf carts and jumping over stuff.
Skipping class.
And Beau's out there actually practicing.
Like he is today.
Yes, very determined looking and acted like he was on a mission while all of us others were.
Which that's so Beau too.
Yeah.
The other day I'm on the phone with him. Him and Dax are on the course. We're mid-sentence, mid-conversation over something. I don't even know what now. And he goes, Dax, terrible. Another bad decision. He said, grab the 3-wood. And he's like, so, on this breeding to Stevie, you need to, and all of a sudden you hear this click. Perfect, Dax. Way to strap it. Oh, that's so you.
Yeah.
That's cool to know that he's always, He's like that.
Dedicated.
Yeah. He's always been that for everybody. I like that.
Yeah, all in. You either do it or it's not enough.
So you fall in love on the golf course. This is after Arkansas?
Yeah, we don't fall in love on the golf course. I go to Arkansas, play golf. I go to school 4 years. I come home. I'm deciding whether I'm going to do who knows what with my life because I've pretty much just, messed around for 4 years at school, pretty much half-assed it through 4 years. And then Wesley starts taking me out to the ranch with him in the morning, the summer of 03. And shit, I mean, you want to talk about some wake-up calls. I'm in college getting up at whenever I want, which is late. And to go into Wesley's summer hours of getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning was rough. He's got plenty of funny stories about that. So anyways, I go out with him. And
He was his alarm clock every morning.
yeah, Wesley was my alarm clock for sure. And just started loving it. I can still remember driving a piece of crap car, the ranch car that Dad had that would get around, and it just had a tape player, and we had a George Strait tape in there, just Amarillo by morning, and was the farthest thing from how my past 8 years had been. So it was cool. And all of a sudden I was reconnecting with something I was probably supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's something you grew up around. So Beau has won the Futurity twice on a horse called Metallic Cat the first time. The second time, which this last Futurity, on a Minkish, which we'll get into all that later. But you've won a whole lot about that. But let's stay with when y'all first got together. Like right after college, you come home, you're with Wesley.
Yeah, staying at my mom's.
You don't really
in
know
town.
what you're wanting to do, really. Golf.
No, my dad has a ranch outside of town. My mom lives in town. So I'm staying with her. And Wesley is training a mare named High Kitty Kitty. And so he's trying to go for non-pro horse of the year, which I think Justin Insurance paid maybe $50,000 to the winner of that. So, I mean, he's after it. And so I'm watching him, I'm helping him. And then we had video cameras from golf. And so I start videoing him, and we would work horses, and then we'd study it, after lunch for a couple hours. And then we play Madden for the rest of the day, and then start over every day, just repeat.
Living the dream.
And then, so he showed at the Futurity that year. And then I got a couple horses. And so 04 was my first year to show at the Futurity. But in the winter of 03 and transition into 04 is where I met Ashley.
And I knew nothing about horses, and I actually was on my way to move to Dallas. I was going to live with my brother and pursue my fashion merchandising career. And Beau talked me into just moving all of my stuff into his dad's wash rack and moving in with him. So that's what I did.
And my mom.
Yep. And I lived with Mimi.
And Mimi was not very happy about
The
Ashley
example
moving
I was
into the
setting.
house. So I knew that wasn't going to last very long. So we got our first apartment in town.
And we would
I've
drive.
heard stories of this apartment from
Well,
Christina, and
We had a German Shepherd, and Wesley had given us a German Shepherd. It's our first dog, which is most, especially her dogs that she was used to, like these little toy. What dogs did you have? What are they called?
Yorkies. When I was
Yorkies.
oh yeah, Yorkies.
So all of a sudden we got a baby German Shepherd. So she's putting this thing in her lap, and he's just huge. And he tears up everything. He
Yeah, we
chews
did
it.
not get our deposit back on that apartment. And it had a balcony patio, and every time you'd come home, he'd be like standing on the roof of the apartment, like waiting for us to get home.
Yeah, it's like a horse in this apartment. These apartments are little. He was big.
So then we we're working out of the Dixon Ranch, and Jody sells the ranch, and we continue working out of it. And Larry Stacy was the owner, and there was a little house that was a part of the ranch that.
Well, he bought the adjoining ranch to our ranch.
Yeah, so it wasn't there previously. And so he said if we did all the work, we could remodel this house and live in it.
That was built on stumps.
It was built on tree stumps. Like, you would be in the front part of the house, and by the time you got to the kitchen, you were jogging because it was slanted.
Down slope.
Yeah, it had a slope, but we did all the work to
Hardwood
remodel.
floors.
Painted, did the texture. My dad helped us a lot. I remember Christina coming and visiting us when we first moved in, and she called Jody crying because she was concerned about our living arrangement. But there was a couple times we would come home and have no heat and sleep in all of our beanies and our clothes, and it was definitely...
Squirrels eating the candles.
Squirrels
That's
eating the...
Christina. I recall some stories of Christina, the crying story, and us bringing that up at somewhere, one dinner, one night, and Christina being like, it was sad. We were sleeping in our beanies.
And we were eating
Christina,
peanut butter and
awesome.
jellies. She was like, this is our dinner. Yeah, this is what we're having for dinner tonight.
Absolutely.
But what Beau did when we lived there is he just had a TV with a little cassette. Remember, you'd watch all those VHS training videos and his dad showing. And
Yeah, my dad had a box full of all these VHS of
'cause we didn't have
futurities and,
TV.
super steaks. And then at that time, Back Fence Video started putting out videos, and the Rice Way and Matt Gaines and Paul Hansma. And so I bought these.
Rogers.
Yeah, I bought these DVDs
Watched
or
them all.
VHS, and yeah, you would be watching them and learn a lot from them. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But as we're sitting there talking about our conditions of house, I mean, that's true love, right?
That's so true love. But I tell you what's truer love is being the past Futurity champion and taking cold showers the other day at Abilene.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that
was
whole
miserable.
cold plunge shower is pretty overrated. I mean, if you have hot water, jump in the hot water.
Take the hot water.
Yeah, if you got a hot tub, jump in the hot tub.
That's awesome.
But there was a time frame that you really believed in this cold plunge, and I seem to recall Daxton having to get in the...
And swimming. I remember this,
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah, I swam in my swimming pool all through the winter before I had neck surgery. I had
I
an
remember.
artificial disc put in my neck, and prior to that, I was so much pain all the time. And this guy named Wim Hof had come out with cold plunges and all that, so I did it, and it did not cure me.
I remember you were very almost religious about anything trying to help you. And
Yeah,
so speaking of that surgery, how are you now? Has all that, I mean, I feel like it changed you.
yeah, it was pretty miserable, that time frame. Me in pain, it was not very good time frame. It was just a lot of pain every day, throbbing in my head and my spine and my neck and my shoulder blades, and then going to horse show. And if you help anybody throughout the day or any of those shows that were going
It's
to
hard when you're
midnight,
healthy.
yeah, it's hard enough when you're healthy, but yeah. But
So
who cares
now,
about that?
what is that? I mean, now,
I'm good. Yeah.
I mean, you can see that you finally have some relief. Like,
Yeah.
because back then, I remember when, I mean, you'd be like, hey, I got to go lay in my neck hammock
Oh yeah. I mean, shit.
to take a break.
I would
from it.
medicate myself, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's awesome that it helped.
yeah. Thanks.
Shout out to the doc.
Yep. Dr. Pat Johnson, Cedar Sinai, Los Angeles. Chris Cox is actually who hooked me up with him, and
Oh, great guy.
yeah, so it went good.
Chris is another great guy. I like Chris.
Yeah. So he had it done, and he had told me about it, and
So after this ranch and the house on the stumps, and Christina thought y'all were going to starve to death. Where do we go from there? All right. You're a non-pro at the time. You're still training. This is 04, 05, right?
We went to your dad's.
Non-pro 05 to the Futurity of 08. So for 4 years, first year was 04. That was my first crop of horses. I had 2, Highlight Cat and Double Down Murata. Wesley had Spots Hot, Classy Dueling. Dad had a Black Widow, and then he showed Highlight in the Open. So that was our first. That was our first year together, me, Wes, and Dad. And we stayed together out there at that ranch for a couple years, right?
Yeah, and then we transitioned to.
Well, Wesley moved.
And then we went to your dad's place.
Dad sold his place. We tried to stay at the Dixon place for maybe 6 months to a year. So did Wesley and Christina. So they tried to stay out there, and it just, anyway, didn't work out, and we all moved on.
You went to Marietta.
Yeah, went to Marietta. And then tried to live out there for a little while, and yeah.
And then after that, that's whenever the Panhandle came. You ended up moving to Alvin's.
Yeah.
But time out. So during all this, y'all get married.
07.
07, the year I graduated.
High school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't let these rags fool you.
Nice.
Taryn called me the other day. He said, "Hey, what was that thing you was in college?" And I said, Phi Theta Kappa. It's not a sorority. It's not a fraternity. It's an honor society. But no, I didn't graduate college. So y'all get married. That's when y'all moved to Amarillo sometime after that?
So we got married, and then we lived at Dad's
Where'd y'all
ranch
get married?
in Ardmore on the golf course, Dornick Hills.
Big wedding, small wedding?
Oh, it was a great wedding.
I feel like y'all would have had an awesome wedding.
Yeah, we had a good wedding, good people, a lot of good, her friends, my friends, some friends from the cutting were there. We had a good time.
That's so awesome.
And we went on our honeymoon to Costa Rica. The ring's kind of a good story.
Oh,
yeah. I do want to hear. You got to tell that story.
So she has me go pick out a ring at the store, and I picked this one out. And she had picked it out too. So there's a lot of rings there, a table full of rings. So we both picked the same ring out, but she had done it. When did you do it?
I just went before you, but you know how Beau is so picky.
Oh, absolutely.
I did not want to pick a ring and then him be like, "This is awful. I can't wear this." So after I picked one, he went in and picked the same one out. So
she was already, oh my gosh, I love that.
Starstruck.
Yeah. Well, just it's meant to be, right? We need all the signs because we're crazy getting married. But we go on this honeymoon and we're in the ocean and we're snorkeling, going across this reef, go all the way out, come all the way back in, get to the beach. I realize my ring's gone. And I tell Ashley, I lost my ring. She's upset, starts crying. I'm like, it's no big deal. We'll just go get another one. No, that was the ring. You picked it out. I picked it out. That was.
And I'm a little superstitious, if you know me.
So I look back in the direction and I'm like, okay, I remember that direction.
And he's out there for a long time, and he comes back to me and he's like, "Ashley, I can't find it." I'm like, "Beau, please just try." Like you went out there a second time, and I was getting really worried, which is crazy for me to even think he's going to find this ring. But I'm making him swim out there and look for it. I'm like, "No, you have to find it." And then all of a sudden, I see him leap out of the water with like his hand,
walking on
like a
water.
superhero. Like, and he had it in his hand. He found it. It was, tell him what it was. It was waving.
Well, I remember going up over this reef. And so I go sort of in the same direction and so I'm going up over and I'm looking. And all of a sudden, I see this thing just right in between these rocks. And you know how it is in the water. Like you think you scoop up something, but it's 6 inches away or, you know.
Oh, you know how I know
you
how
know all
it is.
about the water, right? Aquaman. So I scoop this thing up, and if I miss, it drops. It goes 6 feet, 8 feet down in between. It's gone. So I get it. So as I get it, I come out of the water like a champ.
Holding on to you, ain't letting go.
Yeah, I got this. So that was pretty nuts, really.
That is an incredible story right there.
Yeah, that's
Finds his ring in the ocean.
pretty cool. So definitely meant to be. And we need all those signs through marriage and ups and downs and true love. You got to have all the meant to be's, because when you're living in a house on tree stumps, or you're remodeling, or you're moving around, or, you know, like you better be in love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, lucky for y'all are two of my best friends and someone who me and my wife look up to. So I love y'all's journey. That's why I wanted y'all on here. So shortly after this honeymoon, there's so many horses that you've been involved in. When did it really turn for y'all? Like from the houses falling apart, the peanut butter jelly, the Christina you may need to go back over to the peanut butter and jelly.
No,
I like a good peanut butter and
had
jelly.
one before I came.
I like it. Uncrustable. Do you rock with those?
Nah.
See, I still got a little girl in the
I
house.
was like, I'll let the kids.
Best snacks ever.
I don't think that I ever thought it was bad times. I don't think that we ever had that. Like, we were having a good time. No,
I don't mean that. I'm talking about, when did it turn from I know you, and I know how driven you are whenever you make your mind up at something and you're going to get it done. When did you decide, okay, Ash, we're going to do this deal, and this is it. We're horse trainer. We're going to go do it.
When he found Denver.
well,
That's when that's when you decided to go open against a lot of other advice that you were given. Like he was very determined that he was gonna be a trainer and do it his way. And I think a lot of people were just worried about him turning open too soon. But I knew we had the horse that he needed to do that, to prove himself. And Denver was just such a smart horse, and he took care of us. I say it all the time, like it felt like he was teaching me things instead of us teaching him things. And I could tell that he was going to make a difference in Beau's training, just because after being around the horses that we had and then seeing him, I was like, they're not even comparable to how he was. He was just so smart.
yeah, absolutely.
And Denver, not to interrupt y'all, but Denver is Metallic Cat that they're speaking of, that Beau won the Futurity on, and so many other things. But
Yeah, '08. And we call him Denver because I flew into Denver to look at him.
what a story on that. I love the story
It's
behind
a cool
Denver.
story. I was walking through the year before in the exhibit hall, and it was right when Cutting Horse Training Online came out, and Wesley had a red roan highbrow cat stud, and was a pretty nice horse, and had sold him for a bunch of money and thought he was going to be really good. And when I was walking past this computer and I saw Denver on there, I was like, oh, wow, it's a red roan cat stud just like Wesley's. Cool. So I call the people, they send me a VHS. We put it in that TV she's talking about, and Papa Jody comes over, and we all kind of get in the bedroom and pop this tape in and watch this horse. And
had a little powwow about him. And
yeah, no, it didn't take long. Dad was like, yeah, you need to get on an airplane and go look at him. I mean, it was that quick. And it wasn't probably that quick for me to see it, but Dad saw something. And
he said, if you don't buy him, I'm going to.
And I went and tried him, and Justin Finney had him and had, 5 or 6 other colts. And I tried all these others, and then I tried him, and I remember just holding him off the cow. And when I did, he just kind of took a step back and drew with the cow like real smart. And I thought, well, that'll work for me in the non-pro, no problem. That was the thought of buying him. And then I had to come up with the money to buy him, and I think it was $40,000. And so Kenny Lamb, a friend of mine from Ardmore that managed a bank there, he's like, this is what I can do. We can take a loan against your truck, and you got a year to pay it off. And that's how I bought Metallic Cat, is took a loan against my truck, and it was up in a year. And I had Toss a Cat and Grandmaster Flash, which were 4 at the time, and I was showing them like, well, I'll win enough money on them to pay for Denver, so no problem. And Toss a Cat, I'd let him show in the open with someone else, and he got sore, and so all of a sudden I couldn't win as much money as I'd planned on. Now this payment's coming due, and so that is really what kind of moved us in the direction with where we went with meeting Alvin. Well, really, Alvin, Ascension had worked out there for Alvin and had parted ways in April, and they had sent, Alvin and Becky Foltz had sent Sweet Aber to Dad, and then Wesley was doing a apprenticeship in the open. I think they give you a year to try out the open to see what you want to do, and he had Spots Hot. So, or no, he had, I don't know what was going on. Maybe he had turned open by that time. He had done apprentice with Spots Hot, and then a couple years later decided to go open. So now he's open, and Dad's going to try to help him out. So he asked Alvin, do you mind if Wesley rides a horse? Yeah, absolutely. So we go to the West Texas Futurity, and that's where I met Alvin. We stayed at Alvin's place, and Dad and Wesley went to the horse show, and I would stay out there an extra hour or two, help, put up the cows, help Alvin practice, and me and Alvin hit it off. And I moved out there, probably a month and a half after the West Texas, somewhere probably the middle of September, because Alvin was like, you want to come out here and help me practice and get ready? And I think probably he could see, the potential and the hunger in me, and an opportunity, and I could see an opportunity for me. I was at Dad's place, and I wanted to go on my own, and it was time to kind of move on. And so that's what we did. And I was out there for about a month, and then sold Denver to Alvin and Becky because the truck payment's due, so I have no option, so I need to sell him, and that's just,
rest is history.
Yeah, it takes off from there. But yeah, as far as deciding, to be a horse trainer, I had decided that
long before
in 04.
Yeah,
I mean, once I've made it through the summer of 03 of going out with Wes and through the fall to the Futurity, I mean, obviously I'm missing my window to go do anything else. So I remember riding at that time and thinking, like, when we go to the pre-works and we're getting ready, and I'm thinking, what else can I do to be this competitive for the rest of my life? Not very many things. Like, I mean, the 60 was the number in my head at that time. Like, I can do this till I'm 60 years old. So, I was in then. Like, that was, the first Futurity, I showed Highlight Cat and Double Down Murata, and Double Down Murata won the limited non-pro, and then we were second in the Futurity on Highlight Cat and the non-pro. And then Wesley won the Futurity that year, and Dad made the finals on Black Widow. So it was really a special year for us.
Big year.
Yeah, it was a great year. And so then we went on, and then the struggle over the next 2 or 3 years as a non-pro was really affording to buy your own horses, go down the road, afford to pay the expenses of what it takes to basically compete. So, that you can only do that so long. And I felt like with Toss a Cat, when he came along, I'd had another horse my third year that I'd bought named Miles from Nowhere, and I was second in the non-pro Futurity again on him in my third year. And then I'd made the open finals that year also and was fifth. And I would have been third, but I opened my hand and then I closed it real fast. I was about to quit my cow, and then I ended up just leaving my hand down, working the second cow to the buzzard. And I mean, shoot, we won, I can't remember, 150 to 200 grand, on that horse right there.
Life-changing right then.
Yeah, so that was a lot of money. And so I felt at that point that through 3 years that I was good enough and we were ready.
Got your confidence.
Yeah, and also it helped. I think I had pretty good confidence with Highlight Cat, and then Dad showed him in the open and had a little tough luck. And then when I showed him in the non-pro, now looking back, I didn't realize it at the time, but like I cruised through the go-arounds of the non-pro marking 19s every, maybe 20, 21, 19 through the go-arounds, through the semifinals. He was great. Well, I thought I'm doing the same as the open guys, right? Well, I mean, each division's marked a little different compared to your competition, but I'm thinking in my mind, I got this.
I'm nailing it pretty consistently here.
And thank goodness I didn't get too far ahead of myself, because then over the next few years, I figured out there was a lot more to it than just, that one little show and doing good. So by the time Metallic Cat came around, I had him in a dual ray. And I liked the dual ray better than I did Metallic Cat. Metallic Cat was kind of slow and numb, but extremely smart. So he didn't do anything that he didn't have to do. Where the dual ray is plenty feely and moving all over the place. So I'm like, he felt cool, and I had like,
he's going to steal some points somewhere.
Yeah. And so at this time going into the Futurity, they do this tag rice rule, in my opinion, in 08. And that is this hand open on the neck rule, where you have to close your hand, or you can't have your hand open, or they're penalizing you. And I had showed with my hand, semi-open or a couple, somewhat similar to that. And I showed this dual ray horse, and they penalized me a point every cow. So I'd have marked a 219 the first go, but instead I got like a 213. Well, so we don't realize that. We go in, I show Metallic Cat, mark 16 the first go, maybe another 16 in the second go. And we look at the judges' card, I show the dual ray again. I have another good run in the second go, and the same thing, 13. They go, we look at the cards of the judges, and they, sure enough, they got me for my hand on all these. And I'm like, what the hell? Took me out on making both of them the same.
You hadn't even, something that you hadn't even crossed your mind that, hey,
no,
this
I wasn't moving my hand. It was just, and so I closed it in the semifinals, and I hold my reins and hand the same way now as I do from that night. But the semis and the finals, I close my hand to show Metallic Cat, and that's kind of how bizarre. And all of a sudden, I win the Futurity on that horse. And he was just, he was Ashley's horse. That was her baby. I mean, she'd just scratch him on the butt, and just.
This was the start of the Queen of Stallions.
Yeah,
really.
She was just so kind and take care of him, and he was so kind, and I wanted him to do more. Right. So I'm kind of the bad guy, and
good cop, bad cop.
Yep. And the Futurity Finals was, tough cows, and there was a lot of runs where Roger Wagner at that time frame, there was probably 3 to 5 year time frame right in there where he was
the guy to beat.
He was pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, Quentin Blue. Luckily, Wesley beat him on spots hot for the Futurity. Yeah. But his horses just had a really beautiful way of getting across the cow and really smart reading the cow all the way through the cow, and then they just fly over there, flat in the stop, and then was reading the cow back and forth. They were very, very trained. If he put Jim on the horses, they looked trained. If someone rode them, they looked trained. They were just, he was really good. And he switched cows.
Is that on Asher Cat?
Yeah, he switched cows. And then we had Boyd Rice through the go-arounds marking 22s. I mean, never relinquished in third cutting. And they were they were blazing. So there wasn't any thoughts of Beau Galyean or Metallic at all.
Well, that time frame of year, I didn't really follow cutting or know what it was then, but look at the names of the horses that were in those finals from the Futurity to all those shows till they aged out. Some of the greatest horses of our time.
Yeah, well, Boone Too Soon, Desires Katrina, Dual R Smoking.
Third cutting.
Yeah, third cutting. I mean, there was that.
Lipstick.
Yeah, Don't Look
And then
Twice.
what about Phil Hansen's marriage?
No, she was not the same.
That's not the same time?
Not the same year, yeah. But someone from Quarter Horse News, and this has been years ago, 10 years ago, said at the time they had done some stats on that crop. That crop has won more money than any other crop of horses.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was a great.
I know now there's great horses, and you obviously every year we see, this horse, and then there's definitely a plethora of others that are very nice, but to have 10 that can win at any time, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Wesley had a horse named Hang'em Cat where he had won Tunica. I mean, so there was some really good.
Yeah, good horses.
Very.
So after Metallic Cat, obviously that was the start. How many to me, this is what's cool. Y'all also started Beau Galyean Stallion Services, where y'all stand Stevie, Muy Fuego, Breaking Bad, now Minkish. And let's talk about the studs that y'all been involved in. The ones that y'all started from the. There's so many. Honestly, we may not have enough time to talk about them, but we're talking about Rebel, Rolls Royce, now Minkish, Muy Fuego, Breaking Bad, Cataloo, Sandman. Yeah, Sandman's one of my favorite. I used to love watching you show him.
And I learned a lot from him. I didn't get him until August from the Strom Valley Ranch. Kathleen had sent him to me, and he came with strangles. So he got some other horses sick at Alvin's ranch and ended up losing one of them. And so we didn't get to break him until into September, October. So he's made it the fall of his 2-year-old year is when we're breaking this horse. So
basically a year late.
Yeah. And we go on and do okay through his 4-year-old year. His 5-year-old year, I think I make 9 out of 10 finals. He's feeling pretty good. I sell my half. Me and Alvin were partners on him. So I sell my half because at that time now I'm moving to Fort Worth. So I needed a truck and trailer. So I sold my half for Alvin's truck and trailer. I still have the same trailer today. And then the plumbers bought him from Alvin. And then Paul got him and started showing him. And it was really cool to watch Paul go on and start showing that horse because he made the horse a lot better than I did. And he made the horse cleaner, faster, more electric. And I had learned something from watching him take, this horse and make him better. And that doesn't feel good for anybody, no matter what anybody sugarcoats it and says. Anybody takes your horse and makes it better, that sucks, right? So you want it to.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it here first. Beau Galyean just had a sucky moment.
Well, Paul Hansman,
but he learned from
it.
Paul Hansman is badass.
Yeah, and I think starting with Highlight Cat, he was a stud my first year, and so there was never any thoughts of starting with studs or I love studs over this or that. It would just kind of fell that way. My second year, I'd had 2 mares, and I didn't love them. And then the third year, I had 2 more boys, and one of them was Miles from Nowhere. He was a stud. That was the horse I told you about that I was 5th in the Open and 2nd. And then the next year after that was Toss the Cat and Grandmaster Flash, and then, of course, Metallic Cat, and then the Dual Ray boys. So I had just a lot of boys during that time. And then from 08 to 15, 16, I went to work for Alvin. So we kind of secured a deal after the Futurity, and now all of a sudden we're going to breed Metallic Cat. So we got these crops. So we worked out a deal to stay out there for 5 years. I did a 5-year contract with him. And so all of a sudden the focus went on basically making Metallic Cat and focusing on, breeding mares, having the babies. We'd go to the sales, buy the babies back, or, put them in training. And
back to his studying, there wasn't a mare that he didn't know. He just studied all the bloodlines, called all the mare owners. He knew what would cross, what wouldn't cross. And he did all the management of those first few years, making sure that he got the mares that it took to make Metallic Cat, shine. And it's hard to tell someone to comp breedings or, he just definitely hit every mare owner that he could think of to get him to breed to Denver. And I mean, it just was crazy. His first year, second year, how many good horses came out of those crops that he managed.
Well, and that's where Alvin and Becky were so great, because of doing this now for 20 years, you realize that not everyone is open to your opinion. And me, Ashley, and Alvin and Becky, and especially during that time frame was, obviously we're working for them, but I mean, they treated us like family. They were really, really good to us. And I mean, we would study marketing. We would study the advertising that Jeffrey Matthews was doing with One Time Pepto. Was beautiful. The marketing, the videos. I mean, it was really, really first class. And I spent a lot of time talking to Jack Wagner. I mean, he was very influential with helping my thinking of breeding and how to breed. And that's really where a lot of my philosophy came from is, at that time, me and Alvin would say, well, we'll breed a donkey. I mean, we're not going to be selective. There were some stud owners, during that time frame that would, screen your mare, or they would only breed a certain book. And we believe
who cares if you want a baby by my stud?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think he's good enough. He'll raise you a good baby.
Absolutely. 100%.
I love that.
Yeah. So so we were kind of all in, and it just slowly but surely grew. And it's pretty phenomenal to see what Metallic had. I think the other night he has won 10 years in a row for Sire of the Year.
I know the numbers are astronomical. I mean, honestly, to think, and that was all.
He beat Highbrow Cat's record, I think. So I mean,
absolutely,
his own daddy. That's so cool.
And everybody knows Highbrow Cat. Even before I cut, if you had a Highbrow Cat,
yeah,
you was cruising the Bentley.
Yeah, so that was a pretty neat process. And then Cataloo, I mean, that was cool. You got to see the desperation of Beau out there driving around trying to find something, because I'm in the stands of Silverado just asking anybody that would listen, and all of a sudden you over here. So I'll let you take over how that.
No, you're telling the story here.
You overhear me. You're like, hey, you looking for a horse?
Yeah, you was talking to two old men sitting up there, and I was new to town. I had worked for Corey Pounds. He got me a job with Anderson's right there beside Silverado. And Jason Rutz had that Cataloo.
That's right.
And you was talking to them two old men. They asked you, they said, you found a 3-year-old yet, Beau? I don't remember who it was. I'd kill to know who it was now, that you're talking to, but
no, I sure haven't. And all of a sudden this is the introduction with Beau and Cody's relationship, because I had no clue.
This is where we met.
That's where we met.
Yeah, right there in the stands of Silverado. I was sitting up there watching the cutting.
He's like, I know where a horse is at. I'm
like on the lunch break.
I'm like, all right, well, where at? And he tells me about it, and I'm like, well, when can we go look at it? And he said, right now. I said, okay, let's go. We did.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we got in the truck, drove down there, and tried this horse, and it was pretty cool because Cody was all in. He had these cows and turnback horses and everything, and I get on Cataloo, and we're going to go out there and hear it. Whoa, I'm okay. I'm going to drive off, try this
You
horse.
just give me the hand. You said, woo, easy. He said, I got it. Well, I was so nervous too.
And it was cool. That was good that day.
That was the coolest. I remember it like it was yesterday. You think back to moments, but to me, this is such a great lesson for guys getting into the business. I straight up introduced myself to Beau, and y'all took me in right there from day one, open arms, me and Shy. There's never been a time when I needed advice, business-wise, horse-wise, marriage-wise, anything. Y'all have always been open arms, and I think that's cool because of how successful your story is. But like that day, you're like, let's go. Let me load Ash up, and we're going to come over to you.
I think, and shout out to NCHA, because that's the family of
so
NCHA.
True.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many good people in our world. We are really, really lucky. I mean, there's just so many good people.
Well, we're blessed by just the phone books that we get to carry around in our pockets, and we have access to people that are truly life-changing in our world, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah, Cataloo.
Yeah,
that was awesome. But then what would have been after that? Like probably Rebel and Rolls Royce.
So in that time frame, like from 09 to 15, there was just a couple horses that Cataloo. I'd got another horse, SVR Real Smart. And there just wasn't a whole lot in that time frame. I remember, there just wasn't a whole lot. I mean, there was a lot of years where, my lifetime earnings, we'd probably win 50 to 100,000 that year. I mean, for me, just sucking really, because I feel like from the 04 to 08 of all those horses I was riding, we're winning a horse show every year at some level, whether it's non-pro or the open. And then when I retired Metallicat in 09, the thinking was, and a lot of the open guys would tell me, be very careful. You're, about how many horses you take in, you're going to get flooded, right? So you're thinking, man, I'm going to have,
never see another poor day.
I'm gonna have lots of good horses, and I had 0 horses. No one sent me any horses. The only person that sent me a horse was Jack Wagner, and he had sent me a full brother to Pretty Boy Flash, and he didn't have a lick of cow. He was a real sweet moving horse and real soft and a really cool horse, but he just couldn't do it at the open level. And
Tom Durrett sent you a horse.
Yeah, and then a few years later, Tom Durrett, which rides with Grant now, is a good guy, and he sent me some, and that was right. Actually, the year I'd had a bunch of 2-year-olds for him, and I'd had a highbrow CD mare out of Playboy's mom, which is actually the mother of Johnny Mitchell stud, as a 2-year-old, and she was a good mare. And I signed this deal with Alvin, and I had to send her home. And she went on to win a couple $100,000 and produced really good. So yeah. Anyway, so it was just, that's life and the job and making a living and being all in on your product, right? I mean, Metallic Cat was our product. That was It was me and Ashley and Alvin and Becky, and we were a team, and we were determined, and it was amazing.
Well, what an incredible job y'all did.
That was an incredible team. It was like Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. It was just a great match.
Absolutely. That's so cool. So now let's talk a little bit about how that evolved into the Stallion services as well. Obviously you're still training, you're still on top, just come off a Futurity win. Let's talk about how you and Alvin then went and bought Stevie not too long after he come up for sale and stuff. And then, man, how y'all turned that around?
It was about 15. So when I made the move to Fort Worth, Alvin's program.
Hey, there's more beer down there too.
Hey, thanks. Alvin's program when we started was Sweet Abra. And when I left, we had 20 mares out there, 30 to 50 babies every year. And every mare had won over 100 or produced over 100,000. I mean, it was a
plethora of black top mares.
Yeah, it was a full on operation. I mean, his place was full. I mean, there was no more room for me. And so he said, well, hey, we had looked at places together. We looked at Chris Cox's place that he ended up buying. We went to Gainesville. I mean, we went all over, looked at Tom Lyons' place down in Grandview. And Ashley wanted to stay at this new hotel in Fort Worth. And this app called Zillow at the time was pretty new. And so I just was sitting there, typed in arena, and all of a sudden this Nick and Gail Carange's place that we bought pops up. And so I called them, went out there and looked, bought this place. Luckily, it was just a lot for Gail to run, and so it was perfect for me. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small. I could operate out of there. And
it's so right down the road from your office.
Location.
Yeah,
Will Rogers.
Absolutely. And I knew I was going to be there for years to come and 3 months out of the year. So that was kind of why I paid probably just a little more than I could afford, because I knew that was going to be
location.
Yeah, well, and your kids. I wasn't smart enough to think about location I just thought about my family and coming home at night and being with them. And so that had a lot to do with it. And Alvin at that time was like, hey, I'll pay you. I'll pay for all the expenses at the ranch. You go ahead and move on to Fort Worth. I had 1 year left in the 5-year contract. You keep riding the Metallic, keep representing the brand. And okay, so we did that. And then, so every year we would, pick out, we'd sell, 98% of the yearlings, and I would pick 1 or 2 so me and Alvin could ride or have one. And one of these crops was Metallic Rebel, and I'd picked him out as a yearling. And so I was down in Fort Worth, and they finally brought him to me. Ben Height out in Amarillo that worked for Alvin had started him and had him out there all year and brought him down in January or February. And, looking back, I mean, I did a sucky job of training him on that 3-year-old year, but I had
see how hard he is on himself.
I had a chrome Cadillac for Ellen Carter, which Ellen owns half of Minkish. And then I had a Rebel, and then what's the horse that Chad Bouchard sent to us?
8 Mile.
Oh, 8 Mile.
8 Mile.
That's right.
So 8 Mile, I got him probably in about April, and he had been through 3 or 4 trainers from the 2-year-old.
Several.
Yeah.
I remember all that.
And so Michael Cooper had called me and said, "Hey, Beau, come look at this horse, try him, see what you think and what, and so I did. And I'm like, yeah, I think we can do this, that. So I took him and he was going pretty good, and Chrome Cadillac was going pretty good. And I had Metallic Rebel. And Alvin watches him at the Derby and decides to sell him. And that's where Tom Gwynn comes in. I meet Tom Gwynn that year. We're showing up at the BI. Dad had rode some horses for Alan Crouch when Alan Crouch's back had got sore. And they were Tom Gwynn's horses. And then he sent them back when Alan's back got. And then something happened between Alan and Tom. So then Tom sends the horses to Dad. Dad's up there showing at the BI. Dad needs to go to a wedding. Beau, can you show in this limited class this horse, a novice class or something like that? Yeah, sure. So I did. Tom was like, hey, Beau, I would like for you to ride my horses. I'm like, well, you need to talk to Dad about that. So
Papa Jody.
Yeah, and obviously Papa Jody wants his kids to, to do good. So that,
wasn't a problem.
Wasn't a problem. And we sold, I told Tom you don't have anything that I think we can compete on. So we sold all of them, right, Ash? I mean, and when Metallic Rebel came up for sale, I called him. He bought him. And then, so that pretty much started a pretty good time frame of that 3 or 4 year stretch there. I mean, we went Metallic Rebel, Rolls Royce, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan. Won the Super Stakes 3 years in a row on those, 3 different horses.
Absolutely.
So that, it was kind
Which
of
is
cool,
incredible in itself.
Yeah. And, that time frame was sort of where the Stallion station came in. I felt like that. I told Tom, we need to have our own operation to where we can control the office, the phone calls. When people call in, they want to breed the Rebel. Hey, great.
Making sure that you're getting a breeding the Rebel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And, if you call and you're like, hey, how do you think this is going to cross? It's great. Okay, good. You got anything else? And, one contract might turn into 2 or 3 from that phone call. And that 2 or 3 could make all the difference in the world. It's just like me thinking this dual ray was better than Metallic and the dual, doesn't win anything. Metallic wins,
Everything.
640,000.
Yeah.
So it's just, you don't ever know. And so, and that's where that started. And it started out of just trying to protect kind of our own product and making sure that,
the job was getting done to where you wanted it done.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden we've done it once with Alvin and Becky and now, here we go again. And it was pretty amazing. Those first 3 to 5 year crops of Metallic Rebel and Rolls Royce are pretty impressive. And obviously everyone sees that. And, so that was
something
fun.
He's passionate about, and he's good at it. So I was just
He is great at it.
glad that we made the leap. I was afraid to do it, but
Yeah. And just got good reason to be afraid. Once we were in it, now it's one thing to compete in the show pen, but now you're entering another business world.
Absolutely.
And, now all of a sudden you're in another competition, and it's a different competition. It's not it's not a cutting. There's not judges there. It's a whole nother.
You're selling a
political
dream,
world.
basically.
Well, you just have a lot of moving parts working behind people wanting what you have, or the studs, or Beau doesn't know what he's doing with the studs, or Beau doesn't know how to collect the studs, or Beau doesn't, so there's a whole nother competition part of like, what in the world is going, like, so you had to go through that to learn that. And that's been a big learning for me. We started in 19 with the with the breeding station, and so we're here in 26. So last 7 years, we've been through a lot.
You've learned a lot.
Learned a lot, yeah.
Which I've been there several times. It's a beautiful place, what y'all have done to it and stuff. I love y'all's breeding facility and how it's all right there and how you're hands-on. And that's what I think so neat about it is I love calling you. One minute you're working a horse. Next minute you're like, hey, let me call you back. I'm breeding this stud right quick. I think that's so neat. But also to somebody who's looking to breed, how cool is it for us to pick up the phone, like you said, maybe I'm breeding to Stevie, but I also have a Stevie mare that I need to breed, and maybe I want to breed it to Muy Fuego, and I get your time to talk and your knowledge and what you think about the bloodlines. And like Ashley said, just your knowledge on paper for horses and their bloodlines and how they cross on certain things. And I think that comes from generational, when you say all the way from like your grandparents, and because your family, like they're so horsey. Like your dad to me is old school. Like you said, when he saw Denver, he's like, yeah, what are you doing? Get on the plane. Like I've been sitting with him many a times, and a horse will come walking by and he'll be like, that's a good horse right there.
Well, yeah, my grandfather, he bred Murata's Little Sioux. So there was always a knack there. And the other thing that I think with studs, and I think Denver proved that, we showed up to a sale, I don't know if it's 12 or 13, in Western Bloodstock sale at that time, they call, Alvin Foltz Alvin Flutes. So that's who we were. No one knew, and we were in the Panhandle, Amarillo, and we proved that you
Miles
could do it
from
from
nowhere.
anywhere. Yeah, it was just, it's all about the horse, the care, the passion, the people behind it. It's not about the glitz and the glamour, and it's about the horse and taking care of the horse and making sure that the people are taken care and the people that are calling are taken care of. And if there's a problem, we try to take care of it. Hey, you want your money back? Hey, can we get, customer service is huge. And Alvin and Becky have set, an incredible example of that over the past 15 plus years of how far that can go. With Metallicat, with Stevie Ray Vaughan, now with Breaking Bad. So it doesn't matter where you're at or how big or fancy your place is or how small it's, it's about these things.
That's so neat. And speaking of that, so now we have the Stallion services. Now we have the legacy bonus. Talk a little bit about that and how cool that was this year. And I'm just going to throw this out there, leave it to the Galyean to come up with a high-paying incentive, and then give him a chance to win it. The guy kicked our butts, won the whole dang thing. Minkish. Let's talk a little bit about the legacy bonus. Minkish, your plans for Minkish this year. You're standing him. That's super cool to add him to the roster. And something that I would like for you to talk about is Minkish's incentive, because Burt Bull was a great friend of mine and to the industry. I think I don't think he met a stranger.
No.
And if you did know Burt Bull, he was a great man, and his family and Mink and that stud, and it's cool to see what all that story folding out. But
it's a phenomenal story because I've got to know Linda. I met her about a year ago before the Minks actually showed. I met with her down near Corpus Christi and talked to her about, like, we had a meeting and was about to buy the horse. And it was a great meeting because the whole time I'm talking her into not selling the horse. because I feel that there's something special that's going to happen with that horse for her and her family. And talking to her now, talked to her the other day here about a month ago, and she feels that way now. She's like, I know what Bert was always talking about now. I feel that. I so bad wish that I would have came to these shows. I didn't understand it back when he would leave for 2 weeks for the Futurity, or, you know, now she understands it and she's loving it, and it's bringing, you know, more great people into the business. And these horses are just like that. They'll put their hooks in you, and there's a passion there. And the passion too is winning. Like, I mean, Minkish,
everybody likes winning.
Yeah. So all of a sudden it's real fun when your stud's doing great and he's booked full and he's making lots of money. So that's fun too, right? So everybody's going to love that. But as far as Minkish and Bert Bull was, these incentives have been around for
a long time.
Yeah. I mean, they used to have, you know, Bill Riddle won $1 million, and then Dusty Adams' family did the Millionaire, which was phenomenal. And a phenomenal family. I mean, to go on and pay that out and stand behind that when it wasn't going very good, didn't have to, and he did. And those horses didn't pan out the way that he wanted or saw it and dreamed of it, but he stayed behind it. And that, I mean, those kind of things are amazing to me. But he's a spoons full, put up $1 million if you won the Futurity. So there was all these little incentives lingering around. And I remember the first year they had the June Vegas show, I went out there and I called Alvin. I was like, hey, this place is pretty neat. This is a cool show. And that's the first time we started doing the Metallic Stakes. So Metallicat did an incentive out there where it was, I think, maybe 25,000, 15 and 10 to the first, second, third placing Metallicats out there. So, you know, this incentive deal's kind of always been on our mind. And when I had Rebel and Royce, I wanted to put together an incentive, and I'd kind of asked advice from a few people, and they were like, well, you know, I don't know what you would do or how you'd get the stud owners to do something like that. Well, you know, the industry's kind of showed, you know, how you can do that now. And the legacy bonus is amazing. I mean, paid out almost $1 million. We're going to have probably
very first year
over $1 million for the 26 Futurity, for the top 10 places in the Open, the non-pro, and the amateur. All you got to do is, doesn't even matter what you're riding. All you got to do is just buy a breeding. You don't even have to breed
buy
any
stud. Of them studs.
You can just use it as an entry fee if you want.
Absolutely.
So it's been amazing. And, you know, now Terry and Ellen have decided to try to take advantage of Metallic Ray Mink being booked full, the momentum being a Futurity champ, Minkish being out of Blackish, being a third-generation Futurity winner. I mean, there's a lot of things going. So they decided to put up an additional $100,000 if a Minkish baby makes the finals at the Futurity for each finals, the same as Bert Bull did. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And what a cool horse too. I'm excited to see the path y'all go down and with that horse. And we still got a lot of career left in that horse. He's just getting started.
Yeah, he's just a baby. We hopefully got 3 years left. And, you know, the goal now is to chase $1 million. I mean, he's over 700,000 right now. Kittenish was the first mare to ever do it. So hopefully Minkish can go do it, and
right behind
maybe
her.
Those two can have a baby one day, and who knows?
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Austin. Maybe we should call Austin and Billy right now and work a trade.
They'll trade.
I'll make sure and be the caller. That way I can get in on the trade.
Yeah, me and Austin, we were in the World Finals there when Rebel and he was showing the deluxe checks, I believe. And we both marked 233s that night. And Todd. And afterwards, he was like talking about breeding that mare and Rebel. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. And he's like, yeah, let's call it 233.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So, Ash, tell me a little bit about what it's like on your side of things, taking care of these studs and
A walk in the park.
going down the road. And
Well, I have found that
thank God he finally left.
we got rid of him.
Can we lock the door?
Repetition. That's my main strategy. Just
Repetition,
like, they just
consistency.
need consistent. They kind of, those studs that are smart, especially like Mink, we call him Spec. He kind of wants to know what his day is going to be like, like he's just a funny horse. So you have to like, even
He likes a plan.
Yes, he wants a plan. He wants to be the first one out of his stall. He gets mad if you give anybody else attention. He wants to be important. And a lot of those good ones just always have like that way about them where they just know that they are important and they want to be taken care of a certain way. And I think that I'm almost positive I spent more time on his back than I have any other horse. I mean,
On Spec.
not riding him, just tying.
with him.
Yeah. Just because he was a little immature and we had to play catch up. And he, when we bought him in October, that was the first time we'd seen a cow. So we didn't leave the house without him. So like he literally went everywhere we went. And he definitely got seasoned that way. I mean, it was important that he went with us and, just getting to know the horse, like as an individual, like Rebel, he was real hot. He was my fire breathing dragon. Like Beau would never even get on him the first day at a horse show. He'd be like, take a few more laps. Actually, I'll just see him tomorrow. Don't even bring him to me. I mean, he was a lot of horse and took a lot of my time too. But it's just the individual, like learning what they like. I mean, just like a way to any man's heart is through their stomach. So treats, like feeding them, being the one that does all that for them matters too.
Well, and I've seen you over the years, obviously, with all these horses, and it takes a crazy amount of, hey, I'm yours, you're mine, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. And I have seen you spend a lot of time with Spec, and that's cool.
Yeah. He definitely is one of those that you enjoy being around, though. He's not a pain. He's fun to ride. He's got so much personality to him. He has his little quirks and he's very playful, but it's so funny. Like whenever he's done working, he's serious. And then as soon as he's done working, it's like a switch goes off and he's like, oh, it's playtime. I mean, he is a character.
So us talking about all this is what I think's most amazing about y'all. Is all this we just talked about, this is y'all's daily routine, but y'all still find time to be the coolest parents I know. Let's talk a little bit about the boys and what they got going on. How old's Dax? He's what?
15, and River James is 12, and I hope that we're not too cool of parents because I hope there's a little discipline and some hard
Daxon
there.
told me we were strict the
There
other
you
day.
go. Good. You don't want to be too cool, right?
Hey, listen, I can tell some stories on you being strict with Dax. I got Dax's back on this one for sure.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
So, you want to hear my story about? I'm on the phone with you. I'm pretty positive you were in the car. It's dark. Y'all are golfing, which, by the way, Dax, I'm not a golfer. I don't know the terminology. Dax is as close to Tiger Woods as I'm ever going to know. So he's a great golfer. What would you call Dax for our audience?
Well, Daxton yesterday at Pecan Valley has a rating of 73.9, and he shot 64 yesterday in qualifying for his high school team, and he's a freshman, 15 years old.
Mic drop.
Does he have days where we lose a cow and it sucks? Yeah. And that's probably horses are a good example with golf, because you might go to a horse show. Like I went to Abilene on Minkish and wasn't working very good. Wasn't very good. Marked 17.5 and a 22 in the finals, marked another 17.5. But, that's the great part about great horses is you will learn like their standard is high and they're capable of being really good. And when they don't do things that are, right, most of the time it's the trainer's fault, because they're so much better than their competition. Great horses. I mean, that's why great horses win so much money. That's why they make 8 or 9 out of 10 finals everywhere they go. So when they're not doing things right, or they don't look right, or they spin out or don't hit a stop, or they don't think through a turn or whatever, it's the trainer's fault. And then it's a matter of figuring out why. And I think that's what separates the greats. And there's a lot of greats as we know in our business, but I think they're not scared to have, like, I've been around, whether it's Tag, Wesley, and Lloyd, and I've seen Lloyd, here, work this horse. Tag, here, Lloyd, work this horse, so here, Wes, work my horse. And when you see people working your horse, you see things that you're so scared to let go of protecting yourself, because your horse is now just thrown out there and someone's just going to drop it down and just cut. And it was like me watching Paul on Sandman. Guess what? It looks way better. You know what? You better do something to get better. You better get some help from Lloyd. You better get some help from Wesley. Papa Jody, what do you see? What do you think? So with golf, I think with me, with Daxton, and with River too, with whatever he's doing, it's like the standard is here. Okay, because you're going to fall to here in any sort of competition or pressure. So you better feel like that and that's tough. That's tough to do. And it's tough as an individual to be that way. And the only way that I probably got that way is when I met Ashley, and you're living in a house on stumps. Now you don't have a scholarship. Now you're not getting a couple $1,000s a month per diem, or free meals and free golf clubs, and do whatever the hell you want and go to the fraternity house or go to now you got to pay.
Electricity. Fridge is empty.
Yeah. So all of a sudden your accountability is real and shit's real. So you better get good. And so that's probably where my strictness comes from, is that I was far from it. Like in high school, I was loose. College, loose. When I met Ashley was, we were free flowing.
Lucky.
Extremely lucky. Absolutely. But
but I get it. I get what you're saying. I love where you're going with it.
Yeah. And so when I see my boys now, I make sure that, I think about, if I'm not here tomorrow and they look back on their text messages, what messages are going to be there? What was the message that Dad had? How are they going to hear me when I'm not here, when they're by themselves and their trouble's around the corner? because we know when it's easy street, danger is around the corner. What voice are they hearing, you know? So I'm raising these boys right now, and I got 18 years to do it, and I only got 3 left on Dax. So getting pretty close. Yeah, so you're trying to be, you know, you're trying to not play.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, so because it is real out there.
It is.
And I didn't know how real it was. I mean, and I think if I'd have known how real it was, I'd be a lot better in business. I'd be a lot better with customers. I would have probably accomplished a whole lot more, would have had a lot more things, but it was just like, you know, it's free flowing. It's cool. It's, you know, like, and then you start waking up and realizing that, man, you didn't get sent all these great horses after to win the Futurity. You actually got to go find a good horse. You actually got to go do it yourself. Not everybody's going to hand it to you. Because I think shit had been handed to me a little bit for a while because of being good at something. And then at a certain point, you got to take over and be a winner. And most winners have, you know, discipline, structure. You know, they got bills to pay.
That was legit. Go ahead and chop that one up. That was nice.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just, I mean, I worry about
say,
all the time.
Say it for the ones in the back.
I
you know what I mean?
All the time, my boy's not being tough enough because it's tough out there. I mean, it's tough. It's just, it's always a concern and a worry for me if they're tough enough because they're not.
Well, I love how you said, if I'm not here tomorrow, how are they going to remember me? What voice are they going to hear? That's huge. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Shouldn't we all? I need to work on that myself.
Well, I mean, there ain't nothing else for me to leave. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it's tough to take care of family because in order to be a winner too, you have to be selfish. You got to take care of yourself. Like it was, I think, a choice of mine and Ashley's with Minkish when we bought him and he came along. We knew it was going to take an extra dedication. When I bought him into October 1st of November, and we took him to every show, Abilene. We knew it was going to be an extra dedication. It was more pre-works. It was more time away from, you know, whatever other activities in order to, you know, the way I compared it was rebel again because I knew I didn't do the
what
proper
you needed
job.
to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't do what I needed to do. I kind of, I'll be fine. You know, I'm good enough. I'll be fine. You wake up, showing at Futurity, lose a cow with a couple seconds in the semifinals, you're not good enough. You know, you're not doing good enough. You go to, you know, and then you hear people like, yeah, Rebel, he really got good when he was 5, didn't he? Well, he won 4 times when he was 4. But so it's like, obviously I didn't do something right because they don't remember anything about the horse. You know, went to Abilene, was 3rd. You know, went to Monroe, we won, you know, but it doesn't matter. So it's like you have to be really determined about, you know, and I think Wesley, we've seen him get mad and get determined. I mean, like
Yeah.
These last few years, you know, like he's doing his own 2-year-olds and doing his own 3-year-olds, and we go with Third Edge and Lone Wolf and 1942. I mean, we got a few years here to where we showed people that, you know, and I think that's just an example of when you get determined, but he's in the same scenario that most of us are in with family and kids. It's tough. It's tough to maintain that dedication to a sport. Tom Brady's a prime example of it. His last season was terrible, and he talks about how rough it was with family and the kids, and it's in your mind. Well, to be elite, you got to be it's just pretty tough to balance it all unless these kids are going on the road with you and they're homeschooled and they're going to the cutting and you're entering them in the youth cutting and they're cutting, but mine aren't. They're going to school, they're into sports. Daxon played baseball, he played basketball, he played golf. River plays, all those sports, and it's pretty taxing on us, isn't it, Mom? I mean, there's a lot of driving around, a lot of picking up, a lot of, then when you leave for a week or two for a horse show, who's doing all that? So it's there's always a lot, and we like it.
Well, another thing he's passionate about is studying golf and helping Dax. So to see how hard he has to work at the barn, come in, go to the course, it's just an everyday thing for him.
It is amazing to me to see the dedication that you can, from the cutting. Obviously, I get the cutting because me and you have a
for the cutting for me was one more time. And maybe now the door's open to do it a few more times that we've done it one more time. But it was a real determination for me to do it one more time with the Futurity. It was, I'd seen.
Well, I'm glad you're not cutting yourself off to just one more time.
Yeah, I'd seen. it was like.
Well, I knew there was going to be one more time because when Wesley got that second one, we ain't letting Wesley get two.
Yeah,
and Brother Beau have one.
I need Wesley to win another Futurity to inspire Beau.
Well, and I would love for him to. He loves cutting, and he's supportive and wants. You can feel Wesley wanting you to do good. He's an intense rascal. I mean, he's the opposite of me when it comes to his intensity. I mean, he's intense, and
I don't think that you're really described.
I agree. I think it's just more controlled.
Well,
You're
I think y'all are both very fierce competitors. This is my outtake on the Galyean brothers. I think y'all are both fierce competitors and winners. I think that you're very laid back and controlled. Wesley's a little more like, hey, you hear that? Did you see that? You got it? Okay, let's go over it.
Yeah.
Where you're like, yeah, they said they got it.
And I think for my kids, like, I wanted them to see Dad do it. Like that was, I think for me and Ashley, it was like a part of like, I want, and it was pretty important that they be there. Like Daxon had a golf tournament in the semifinals and finals day. He was playing at PGA Frisco, and, after the first round, he's tied for first, and then I win the Futurity that night. So he's out till, 1 o'clock in the morning with us, and, the next round's not so good for him. But a few days later,
such a family moment.
Yeah, a few days later, though, I told him, I said, hey, you're going to miss a flight one day. You got to drive overnight to a golf tournament. You got to learn how to wake up and get it done. You can't, no excuses. And I mean, that's just it. Like, it's try, right? It's just
dedication.
Yeah. It's like me and Daxon's all year long was either you do it or you're left behind. That's what we would tell each other all year long. Like, hey, you doing your work, I'm doing mine. Like, you either do it or it's not enough. You'll be left behind. So
put that driver back in the bag and get that 3-wood out.
So for him to be a part of it, all of us, me, River, Ashley, and kind of see, I mean, River was so proud, wasn't he?
Yes.
I mean, he was.
Oh, you could see it in their faces.
Oh, yeah. He held all the money.
You could see it.
Yeah, he was. So it was, I think it was special because we wanted to be there one more time. Like, I wanted to get my hands on that trophy and drink the champagne out of it one more time. And we wanted the mojo around the horse to be good. It was amazing. I mean, Julie Jarma was amazing. She loves the horse. They saved the horse's life. I mean, 3 days old.
Crazy story.
You've heard the story, yeah.
It is so cool.
He's got 109 temperature, and they call the vet, and the vet says there's nothing you can do. He's going to die. And Kenny, he's like, no.
You don't understand.
Ice packs and gets ice on this horse, puts him in the back seat, and they take him to the vet. And this is Minkish, and he survives. So they're very special and instrumental in this horse because of their belief and love. And it's amazing how these horses that are great have these stories, like have these people.
How it started.
Yeah,
right there.
There's always something special. They're not just some horse, there's something special about them. And then we're just lucky enough to be a part of the ride and channel that in the right direction and get lucky. I mean, there's 4 go-arounds. I mean, that's luck. It's just and great horses find a way to get real lucky.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. It was pretty special. And then, of course, Terry Green. I mean, he's special to us. Ellen Carter, she's been with me 10 plus years. I kind of had to talk her into being partners with me. She's like, so it's
I love
it's
Ellen
more
too.
than she's ever spent on any horse, and obviously it's been a phenomenal. But Terry's like, I don't need another horse. I've already, I got all these horses, and of course we just come off of buying a $1,005,000, piece of crap that doesn't work out. That I call him after a certain amount of days, and this horse, and so imagine him trying to buy another prospect, right?
Say what, Beau?
Yeah, exactly. So, that's phenomenal for someone to believe in you and give you another opportunity. And,
absolutely. And then for it to work out.
Yeah, that was the best part, right? I mean, I think that
I thought it was neat with you how much you believed in Minkish. I mean, so early in the game, I remember when all that was going down, and I just remember I've always felt like if you're in, then we should be in. Because Beau, when he gets in on something, I just remember y'all being like, hey, there's something about this horse, and you need to watch this horse.
We'd been through a lot to get him. I mean, he went through, I had another customer buy him from Julie, and then, that customer was getting out. So then I had to buy him and come up with people to buy this horse. They weren't giving him away. So it's like, I got to get Terry, and Terry's already got 4, 5, 6 other horses. I don't need another horse. And then Ellen, I got to talk her into spending more money than she's ever spent. And so that's tough. I mean, it's tough to find people when you are, it's like when we sit down and rally it out over 20 years of what we done, that's great. But, the last 4 years, it's been a little rough for Beau Galyean. So it's like, and you just bought a horse for a lot of money in the 2-year-old sale, and it
didn't
sucked.
work.
So this guy, maybe you married the wrong brother, and believe it or not, she heard that. And that's where Beau Galyean was at, so it was a long way back to get to where we're at today.
That's badass. I love it. And I love to call y'all friends. Y'all pump me up. What would y'all say if you could tell anybody in the world what you're saying? What's your quote? What do you want to leave people with?
Oh, well, I mean, I thought Willie's family, they got a cool little sign that says, don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a goddamn asshole. So,
I thought the quote you and Daxon had going was pretty good one.
Yeah, like I love that. That was fun. We had a good time with that.
And it's got such meaning.
Yeah, well, it's just hard to do it, Big Paul. I mean, it's just hard to do it. These guys that that do it. You know, it's hard to maintain and it's like I tell Ashley all the time, and you got to be in cutting. And I mean, you got to be, in order to be a winner in cutting. And that's where I feel that I see it as with these people is you got to go. I mean, you name probably your top 5 or 10 trainers, and I guarantee you 80-90% of them have been to the weekend show there the other day or another weekend show somewhere getting ready for this show. And so there's, you know, it just takes a lot to be good. And obviously you love something, you want to put that in, but when you love your family and your kids and you're trying to make sure you put that in there, well, then you feel like you're all there, but then you got, you know, your cutting horse business, you got to be all there. Oh, by the way, you got the Stallion station. And then, oh yeah, by the way, we got the legacy bonus at the Futurity this year. So there's, you know,
and don't miss Rivers basketball game.
There's a lot of, and I do. I mean, I don't make all Daxton's golf tournaments and I don't make all Rivers events because it's just impossible. But I try to do the best I can to make what I can. And it's just, this sport has got so much better. I mean, it's just, you know, there's some trainers going that are just, they got it figured out. They got good horses and they got a lot of horses, you know, whether they're showing up with 10 real good show horses. And I mean, so it's tough and it's getting tougher. And then if you are a little on the outside of that to where you're not quite all in, you know, like I can't tell you how many times I've been questioned, do you still love cutting, Beau? Do you still love cutting? You know, like, because you're not doing good, because you're not winning, because you're not, well, you know, whatever. I think it's just a lot. Like people sometimes have a lot going on, you know, and you're just doing the best you can. And that's it. I mean, it's not that you're not a winner anymore or that you can't do it anymore. I mean, I think winners always find a way. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen guys that they'll go years and all of a sudden they show up and they'll win the Breeders' Invitation or the Super Stakes or something. I mean, you just, you know, you put a winner on a good horse, they're going to find a way to get there. You know, it's just hard for, I think, a lot of the winners to have those good horses every year. You know, that's where
stay consistent all the time.
Yeah, that's where the big barns come in. That's where all the amateurs and all the cattle and all the horses come in, because someone can give you an open checkbook. Go find me and it doesn't mean that one's available. You can go that 2-year-old sale and there's some nice horses, but it doesn't mean there's
the one that you're looking for. Yeah,
or that fits you, or I mean, yeah, you never know. I mean, it's just so you need, I mean, how many times have we seen someone a week before the Futurity, they're showing these two, and then at the Futurity, they're showing something different, or, you know, the morning of, they're showing something different, or that's not the horse. And then they go on to, you know, do great things. I mean, you got to have, I mean, obviously you don't have to have, but it sure helps to have numbers and customers and good horses, and at least 5 to 10 real good horses. And then, you know, ultimately you can
build from there.
Yeah. Cause if you got 1 or 2 good horses out of, you know, Jesus, and neither one of them are very good, and then all of a sudden these other 2 are real good, like, well, what if that's what you had? Now you got to go a whole year. You got to find something else the next year, but that's a whole year you ain't got nothing. And you're real good. And then you go that whole year, nothing. And then maybe, did you find anything again? Did anybody want to find something to you? Did anybody want to send anything to you?
Yeah, they moved on to the new.
You go a year or 2, I mean, you just start falling off. I mean, I've just seen, so many of these guys that are so good, and all of a sudden, boy, he's struggling. He's worried. We're worried about him, and all it takes is a good horse, and boom, he's right back going good. It's just tough to find a good horse.
But if you're looking for a good horse,
817.
I hate to throw a plug in here, but head on down to 817 Horse Sales or Beau Galyean Stallion Services. You can breed one, where we'll sell you the next breeding to your next Futurity champion.
And that's the other thing about finding a good horse. Like, even when you maybe find him, like, golly, man, that horse, I don't know, man. His head's high. His head's too low. Man, he's too heavy. He's too fast, too feely, it's never, I mean, I don't think you ever know. You got good ideas and you got educated guesses, but
do you have the balls to go see it through?
Yeah, well,
the accountability.
Yeah, I mean, you just
and it doesn't always work.
No, just do the best you can, and that's what.
And I think that's what your mentality was on Minkish spec the whole time. Is you just stayed consistent and steady and didn't try to force anything into him. And it was so cool to watch the horse just start figuring out, like, coming alive and realizing that he's doing it himself. Like, the whole process was so cool because we got to see it from the very beginning, and Beau just stayed so consistent and never really had to get on to him or worry about that aspect of it. You just trained him maybe sometimes twice a day and just.
Well, and it's been like, and shout out to Eric Magby, because it's great having him there. Awesome. And he's doing so good. I mean, I was just talking to Clay Johnson this morning about how good Eric's doing. And he's going into his second year being there. So he's been with me all last year, and he's really starting to hit a stride. He just won Abilene, the Intermediate Open. But last year, any of these days that aren't great or you're not feeling it, here, get on him, Eric.
Work his horse.
Yeah, and you watch him and you're like, nope, it's you. It's you. It's me. I'm the one that's not feeling right.
I need to adjust here.
That horse looks good. Looks real good. And, someone told me long ago about, if you look back at when Larry Reeder was dominating, he had Kathy Don working for him. When Matt Gaines was dominating, he had Clint Allen. Lloyd had Jamie Snyder. Austin's got Cade now. I mean, Adon's got great hands over there helping him. You and Taryn used to be tagged up, and I got Eric helping me at home right now. There's
it helps.
There's a team. You gotta have people that they're all in too, that want you to do good, and not only the horse, the owners, you got to feel it from the owners. You got to have.
I agree. A good owner down to the stall cleaner.
Yeah. And those owners, like, I really work good for me with an owner that's just hoping to make the finals, hoping to do good. Man, I hope that horse, if it's not good for you, it'll be good for me. Like, I like that. That's expecting well, golly, man, that horse is as good as that horse. Why aren't we winning? That gets tough, because obviously, I've won enough to be able to show I can win. So I can only do what I can with the horse. And can someone make the horse better? Yeah. But they might make it worse too. And I'm just doing the best that I can. And having someone like Eric there that I see that day like that, it helps perspective, because you're like, okay, cool. Yep, it's me. I got to do a little bit of that. I need a little bit of that shoulder over there, a little more weight there, a little bit more being too hard on him. So it's been good to have him.
Yeah, it means everything. Good team. It's awesome to have a good corner.
Yeah, it really is a good team. I mean, it's a great team.
Y'all want to add anything else? Talk about anything else? Anything? You got something on your mind that you want the world to know? Anything coming up? Anything new? I think we covered all that stuff.
You know, I will say that last year helped too, having Breaking Bad and Muy Fuego, and you know, kept showing those horses, keeping you somewhat competitive,
like keeping you sharp and
because you keep like knocking on the door, and like with Muy Fuego, I felt that he's a good enough horse to win, and won the West Texas, but we keep getting to these finals, and we keep, we maybe mark a 22, maybe do this or that, so it's like you could just feel it kind of winding back up, of pushing again to get, because I don't think you just,
fall into it.
Yeah, I don't think like Minkish, you just wake up and you're just back to winning. I think you kind of have to, I think it has to, this horse helps you get back to go pushing and cow picking and kind of, getting your focus back, going the right direction. It's kind of the same with Rebel, like I was talking about. That 3-year-old year, and then all of a sudden the 4-year-old year was kind of just like, you win 3 or 4 times, but it wasn't, it's like the same. And then all of a sudden you're back, okay, let's go. These great horses, they create a lot of momentum. You look back to, I remember when in 08 and 09, like on Metallicat, we're cruising and winning a lot on Metallicat, and my brother-in-law Lloyd's struggling, and Christina's with him, and they're not doing much. And then all of a sudden, here comes Royalty. We win the Futurity, and then we get Hottish, and we get Smooth Talking Style, Little Cat of Blue. All of a sudden, we get 4 years.
And then all the mares.
Yeah, so it just all of a sudden you go from a struggle to you go to 10 years of winning $1 million a year. So I've seen both sides of it, and everyone, everyone's, well, maybe not everyone has struggles, but I definitely have had struggles, and I appreciate the good times.
That's what makes a good time so great, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like you said, I like how you said that it prepared you to win, and you don't just fall into start winning again and like getting hit hard and get back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was. Yeah, for sure. I think, like Bumblebee, Rebel's Cause was, he was a big part of that time frame of not going very good. We won the Super Stakes, tied with Wesley on third edge, but one horse, it's tough.
So tough.
It's just tough just to have one horse in that time frame. Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing, these guys that get on these runs with multiple horses, and they show automatic. They show so good. There's, and all the people I'm talking about, it's phenomenal to watch them. They're just walking through their sleep marking 2
So that's what's so hard about it nowadays is like, there's so many of those that we're talking about. Right now at the top of your head, I bet we can name 20 that have a good horse, can walk down there and have a very consistent, good run. Well, you talk about those 20 guys and you give them each 2 to 10 horses. It's a lot of horses to beat to make a finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good point.
And there's so many young guys coming in. Cade Shepard, Lance Cooper, Gavin Callahan.
Well, there's another good example. Lance Cooper. How good has Michael been doing the last few years?
Absolutely.
There's just.
I got him coming on here.
That's awesome. I think there's I definitely think there's something to having a team and having some assistants. I mean, Grant Setnick has got some great assistants there helping him.
Yeah, old lefty. He don't play.
So, I mean, I think there's, I think there's something to it. It's hard work to maintain, just like we're talking about with Wesley, doing your own 2s and your own 3s and the show horses. That's
It's a lot of dedication.
That's tough day's work. Hard to maintain that for years upon years.
Well, especially somebody like Wesley, unmotivated, and I can't wait to have him on here.
Oh, that'll be great. He's I call him a ninja on a horse. I mean, he's a ninja.
He is.
There's no one that rides better. No one in our industry, and I don't know ever. This guy can flat out maneuver around.
He's
on a
definitely. I've always said this. In my opinion, he's in my top 5 of who's who.
Well, I've never tried to ride like him, that's for sure.
He does give you advice on getting over that horn.
He sure does. He tries to give me advice all the time about how to ride better and this and that.
So that's what I love about Wesley's crazy butt. He'll help you too. And I tell you what, if you don't want to know, you better not ask.
Yeah,
because he'll tell you. He's all well. Y'all are all so much alike in that.
I think
so
that's
passionate.
I think that's where him and Taryn's relationship. Taryn would ask, and there's sometimes I don't know how to answer things because I think about it in 10 different ways, and Taryn asked Wes, and Wes going to give it to him.
And listen, and they're both freaks like that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, they're 2 of the best in our industry as far as. The only person I would argue you with riding better is Taryn.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I could make the argument both ways. They're both
I
insane.
pre-worked with Taryn this fall, and it was no surprise of Abilene winning $150,000. I mean, these horses he had.
So trained.
4 or 5 of them, man. They're just blowing it out of the water at these pre-works.
Great set of horses.
They look good. I mean, and his assistant trainer, Garrett, made the Futurity
He's a great
finals.
hand too.
So there's another combination of a couple pair of people doing it. So I really think there's something to that. So all you head trainers out there struggling,
get you a good assistant. Yeah. I use Garrett quite a bit. He won the Derby this year for me, riding one, or not the Derby, Super Stakes.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, he's a good one. And listen, he's been there for a long time.
Yeah, well, and that's what it takes.
It takes that. That's what I was about to say. It takes. I tell everybody to this day, I'd have given anything to have stayed with Taryn. 3 or 4 or 5 more years. Now. Would I take anything back for how it played out? Absolutely not. I got lucky and it played out great, but I remember when all that went down, I was like, hey, I ain't ready for this. And Taryn, luckily, he's such a friend that he just gave me confidence to do it, but I would have been so much more ahead today because I still seek advice all the time from him. Luckily, he's my neighbor, so when I get in a rut, I just trot on over. And
well, I've heard some old wise cutters say that they, 5 years is what they think someone should be, under the tutelage of a head trainer or a good one. And I don't know how long Garrett's been there. It'd be interesting.
About 8.
Yeah. And in the last few years, he's been doing pretty good. It just, takes a minute. It's just, I still struggle with it. I'll have moments or these pockets to where you do good, and then it's just hard to maintain. It's hard to maintain.
It's a jungle. Isn't that what Tag says?
Yeah, sure.
Life's a jungle.
Life is a jungle. There's another guy. You give him a good horse, he's going to win. He's a winner.
Well, I think it's pretty neat. We're actually going to do a series on here, families. And which y'all will be back on, or the Galyeans. I want to do, like the Rices, the Galyeans, I mean, that's just to name a couple, but so many Dynasty families. I mean, not just you've won the fraternity, your dad, your brother, your sister's husband. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for us, it's, it goes back to Granddad Kenneth, and we lost him last fall, and he started it all for us. I mean, come down and got a top 10 in the fraternity 50 years ago, and
Hadn't looked back since.
No, that was a pretty amazing accomplishment back then, I mean, he had my dad turning back for him when he was 11 years old in Fort Worth because he didn't trust the Texans to turn back for him.
That's so Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, and there was probably a lot of truth to it. I mean, I was listening to the deal with Gary Belafonte and Mike Mowry and Ronnie Rice, and
I love that series.
Yeah,
that was so
great?
neat.
And they were talking about the different sides of the arena, and you didn't go to that side, and you didn't, and so I think, and that was a couple generations after Granddad Kenneth. So I mean, I bet there was a lot of truth to
Absolutely
having, Papa Jody turn back at 11, because I think there was probably a lot of, good old boy
got around me.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. So it's, and we joke all the time about these weekend mind games, or so I still
Stage
think they're
4.
definitely a part of sports, and you hopefully have a team that you trust and you believe in. You hope they help you the best they can, and then you want to go beat their best. That's how you see it. Is it just
Try and beat me.
Yeah, right. Just, help you the best I can. And man, you put up a good score. Now see if I can go beat that score.
Get it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, guys, I can't thank y'all enough for coming out, and I can't wait for people to hear y'all's story and just know a little bit more about the journey, because it is something that from the outside, all of us love to see, and especially with it starting back up again, because here we go again. Minkish, we got a new stud entering the roster. You got another gold buckle on your belt. The future is wide open from here. As long as you do your work, I'll do mine. The rest is history. Isn't that your index is saying?
You either do it or you're left behind. Yeah. And I don't know if it starts all over again. I'm 46. I'm definitely going to put a limit on that time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of, with the breeding and the babies. You breeding any of these studs, you're 5 years away from their babies competing. And I believe, whether it was Metallicat or Stevie or Rebel or Rolls Royce or any of the studs that we've been a part of standing behind and marketing and riding their babies and promoting, it's, there's a lot that goes into it. All these stud, owners, they, however they go about their business, but there's, in order to have a stud successful, I mean, you got to be invested in it. You got to have the horses in training. You got to be buying them as yearlings. You got to have a trainer that hopefully is behind them, that wants them to,
excel.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly.
Pours their heart into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
just like you and Alvin.
Yeah. I mean,
starting with Metallica.
There's studs that if they sell to someone overseas or something, they just fall by the wayside. They don't just take care of themselves. They don't just breed. You don't just send them to a stallion station and think they're going to do great just because of who they are, what they want. I mean, you got to have a team behind them. And I think most of your successful studs have teams behind them and people that believe in them, and they're showing them. their trainers are showing up at the Futurity and showing their babies. And if they're not, then, your stud might be in trouble.
That's good insight right there. I love it.
And you are in the stud business now, my friend. So
finally,
yeah, here you go.
Yeah, here we go.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. Yeah. I like that. Ash, you got anything you want to say?
No, I think Beau covered a lot.
It was so
No,
good.
we're going to get back. Ashley, we're going to get her back one day.
Where have I been?
Well, on the show, we're going to get a good show. We're going to get her a good show where she owns Midnight in Harlem, which is the horse that Eric won Abilene on. And,
I agree.
We got a couple Muy Fuegos coming out of her that'll be born. That's a good chance those might be pretty neat to look for. So, and as you know, been shopping for
absolutely
a 4-year-old or this or that for her, trying to find something to get to where it's not all work every time you go to the show, that, she can have some fun. And the only way to have fun is to have a good horse, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not fun if you don't have a good horse. Because all of a sudden you're not good enough, or picked a bad cow, or, there's something that you just, he didn't dry work that horse right. He didn't work it right. Not you saying that, just that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Everyone says,
everybody.
Right? Yeah. It's just, he's, God dang, what are you doing? Yeah. Well, get him on that good horse. Oh, golly, boy.
He's a
working
master.
horses good, isn't he?
He's a master.
He's good.
Guys, we want to thank Beau and Ashley again for coming on the 817 podcast and telling their stories. Again, if you want to hit Beau or Ashley up, look up Beau Galyean Stallion Services. Call over there. Get your early bookings in now for Minkish. May not last long. Just throwing that out there. Stevies have probably been gone for a long time. Muy Fuegos, Breaking Bads, any of that, head on over to BG Stallion Services. Guys, thank y'all again. Good luck at the Winter Bash. We'll be seeing y'all over there.